I think that, you could put the blame on Austin too, because he knew Brad was out there and still kind of pulled right up, across his nose.
Finally, a multi-win season for Ryan Blaney. A thriller at Michigan that almost looked like a super speedway race. Good practice coming up for Daytona. Welcome to Backseat Drivers. I'm Alex Weaver. Happy that my girl Kim Coon is back. And joining us as a first-timer, the rookie stripes are officially on. NASCAR on NBC and MRN's Dillon Welch. Hey guys, a little virtual, a little different this week, but glad to have you.
Good to be here. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Excited to be here. So appreciate you guys having me.
Well, let's get right into Michigan. Richard Childress Racing headed into yesterday with both cars looking for a playoff spot with only 2 races left. Looked like a speedy car for Austin Dillon and the number 3 crew. Then the end of stage 2 happened. Brad Keselowski and AD make contact after the stage is over, already past the start-finish line. Brad took the blame on the radio and even on social media after the race. He did tweet, "Watching this makes me sick to my stomach for Austin. He was crazy fast and deserved better. I should have given him more room to avoid this, but glad he's okay." We're definitely glad that AD is okay. A hard hit for Austin. But Austin said Brad should have given him more room. Kim, what do we make of this? Because I don't know what happened.
Well, I think you just answered the question with your point that Brad apologized immediately on the radio, came to Twitter later to apologize. He is for sure to blame. Look, they were racing to the end of the stage for points. Brad did not give Austin enough room. And again, he apologized. When a driver, and especially a driver who can be stubborn like Brad, says sorry, then you have to believe it was their fault. And this isn't the first time we've seen a move like that from Brad. So I think all the blame is on Keselowski.
Dylan, what did you see?
Well, I think that, Austin initially at first, he came on the radio too and said, man, that was my bad, sorry guys. So I think that, you could put the blame on Austin too, because he knew Brad was out there and still kind of pulled right up, across his nose. So tough to say, tough to put the blame on anybody, in my opinion. I think that they both are at fault a little bit there, but certainly a tough situation and one that I know they both wanted to avoid.
Dylan, a follow-up. How much sleep did Austin get last night? Because could he have won the Michigan race? He would have locked himself into the playoffs. I know he's looking back on that one.
Yeah, I mean, and both the RCR cars, he and his teammate Tyler Reddick certainly were really strong. So I think that one, I'm sure for Austin, feels like one that probably slipped through his fingers because he was fast. He was fast all day and, knew his teammate was fast. So was in a position to put himself in a spot where he could go to Daytona and not even have to worry about what happens next week. So that one stings a lot, I'm sure.
Kim, the woulda, coulda, shoulda. Could AD have won Michigan yesterday?
Look, he was fast. I think he would have had a top 5 finish, but I don't think he would have won. We go back and we look at that restart. I think it was lap 67 where he challenged the 5 of Kyle Larson for the lead, but was never able to clear him. And, Larson was in the mix at the end. Then we had William Byron, also fast, Ryan Blaney. I think given the chance, Austin Dillon would not have been able to clear any of them in the closing lap. So I think it was a top 5 finish likely for Austin had he not been taken out, but definitely not a win.
Well, a situation that I know both cars do not want to be in. It'll come down to Daytona for them to get into the playoffs. There's only one place left in those 16 drivers that will compete for a championship at the end of the season. Well, how does the teammate battle play out on Sunday, Dylan? Because you're going not only against the rest of the guys trying to get in, but, let's fight Tyler Reddick for a place.
Yeah, I think it's every man for himself. And I think it has been the last couple of weeks. When you talk to both of those guys, crew chiefs, they've admitted, we're at the same shop. We share information because we are teammates. But when we're on the track, the goal is to get one car in the playoffs. So it's every man for himself. And I think when it comes down to it at Daytona, sure, they'll maybe help each other at the beginning of the race to make sure that, one of them doesn't get put in a bad spot. But I think that when it comes down to nitty gritty and push comes to shove, if there's another team, car in front of them and that line's moving, I don't think you hesitate to jump out of line and bail on your teammate if you have to. So it's going to be exciting. I think that there's no better place for it to come down to than Daytona. And those guys are going to have their elbows up for sure and make sure that it's them that gets in the playoffs and not their teammate.
Kim, we already saw a little bit of the teammates working together at Michigan, but now Daytona, that's the name of the game, but not when you're competing with each other, right?
No, certainly not. And I think you take a lot from Michigan. Reddick was in a good points position when we came into Michigan. His teammate Austin Dillon crashes out. And still, despite that, we saw Tyler Reddick take some serious risks late in the game at MIS. And then you look at Daytona. You have to have the right combo of taking enough risks, but not being too aggressive. And I think Reddick ends up finding the perfect balance of that and ends up in a better points position than his teammate Austin Dillon. But I don't think either of them gets a playoff spot.
Oh, a little foreshadowing to her pick, I think, coming up. Well, it was funny on the radio. I know they told Tyler Reddick to calm down and just finish the race. They must not know Tyler Reddick very well. Don't forget, only 25 points separate the teammates. And if we see another car, like Kim may possibly think, win in victory lane at Daytona, it won't matter for RCR anyways. An organization who's not worried about Daytona, however, in a car getting into the playoffs. All 4 Hendrick Motorsports cars are already in. They're locked in and looking like the team to beat for the championship. Kim and I both picked Larson to win yesterday. Kim, man, we almost looked like we were pretty smart.
We were so close. I thought we were going to get that one right there. I had not had Ryan Blaney on my list of winners. I thought he was going to do well yesterday, certainly. But, we fell short a little bit.
Yeah, close but no cigar. Larson said post-race that he may have been too patient in those final laps, battling Blaney and then working with his teammate Willie B. So, too patient, Kim, yes or no?
I don't necessarily think that they were too patient. I think we were so late in the race, and it was the closing laps, the 24 and the 5, certainly were gunning for the win each. And there was some teamwork. We saw the drafting they were able to do. They tried to get some runs on Ryan Blaney. They fell a little bit short. I think Blaney was just way too good in those closing laps. We saw the blocks he was able to make, the speed he had in that race car. I think even given Hendrick a few extra laps in closing Michigan, we would not have seen them overtake Ryan Blaney.
William Byron also said he had no loyalty with Denny Hamlin. I didn't know that him and Denny Hamlin had loyalties to each other, but apparently so. Dylan, if you're the driver number 5, too patient? Were you going after that risk versus reward?
I don't think he was. I mean, I think he did everything. He and William Byron did everything they could. I think that Blaney was just at the end better. He had the clean air out front. He had the track position. He could kind of dictate the air and make it harder on everybody behind him. So I don't know what else those guys behind Blaney could have done. So I think that Ryan and his spotter, really Josh Williams, did everything right there in the closing laps to keep the track position, keep himself up front and make it hard for those guys behind him to have any option. And at the end, Ryan did a great job of taking the top line away from Larson when he had a run. And then on the last lap, Byron was going to the bottom and Blaney kind of spooked him. Byron wasn't really sure where he was going to go, top or bottom. And it caused William to have to check up and just basically bail to the top side because Blaney was down there on the bottom where he wanted to be. So I think Ryan did everything right there in those last couple laps and he earned that win.
All right, I'm going to challenge both of you guys a little bit because I personally did not think Ryan Blaney had the car to beat. I know he is really good when it comes to the air races and those super speedway and drafting. And could Kyle Larson and William Byron have worked together a little bit better to go after the 12? In my personal opinion, that's where they weren't patient enough, was working together.
Okay. Oh, we'll let you take that. Take that.
Yeah. People can tweet at me if they're upset about that, but that was my personal opinion. The 12 lucked out is all I'm going to say. Easy question, and fans, very opinion-based. We get it. You can agree or disagree with this too. Kim, best race of the year at Michigan, yes or no?
Oh, gosh. I don't know if it's the best race of the year. First of all, my memory doesn't serve me well because we're so late in the season. We're almost to the playoffs. I forget all of the good battles we've had at all the different racetracks we've been to. I will say it was certainly the best Michigan race that we have seen in a very, very long time. I love what the package afforded the drivers to do on the racetrack. The addition of the resin to the racetrack also, I felt like, brought in multiple lanes. We saw a variety of different drivers up front, and the draft effect obviously worked as well. So I would say it was the best 7 or 8 final laps in a race we've seen this season.
Yeah, how many times have we seen the Cup drivers? Majority of them get out of the car smiling, so they must have done something right. Dylan, best race of the year.
I think it was one of the best races of the year, and I think from start to finish, the aero package, the high downforce package that we had at Michigan, certainly has been a very polarizing topic. Really since that package kind of came to fruition. But I think from start to finish yesterday was that package delivered. It did what it was intended to do. It kept everybody close together. tough to pass, sure, but it was kind of like what we're going to see this week at Daytona. You had to build runs, you had to kind of scheme in that way, and it was a challenge. It looked like, from the driver's perspective to figure out ways to get around guys. We saw that evidenced in the closing lap. So I was entertained. I thought it was really exciting. And I thought the aero package, did everything that it was intended to do in those closing laps.
All right, Michigan natives, you can tweet at us at Kimmy Coon, at Dillon Welch, at Al Weave. Just find us. I know you'll have something to say about that. Let's do a little rapid fire. 20 seconds on the clock. Yes, I'm timing you both. Casey, is Blaney's win a sign of things to come for Team Penske and fighting against the Goliath of Hendrick Motorsports?
I'm going to say no. Yes, Blaney was good, but you had Brad with that racing incident with Austin, then Joey with a 33rd place finish. Not to mention, he had that incident at the end of stage 1 where they had to come back a second time for missing lug nuts. So the team's still making too many mistakes. Hendrick is still going to be the dominating force for the rest of the season, even through the playoffs.
All right, Dylan, how you feel about Team Penske?
I agree with Kim. I don't think they've been strong enough consistently throughout this year that they can turn it around suddenly for the playoffs. I think Hendrick certainly has been better, but I just haven't seen enough life from Team Penske over the course of the summer that would indicate that they're going to be able to turn it on, come playoffs time. So I agree. Still think they got a little bit of work to do.
All right, Dylan. Well, something finally happened for the four of Kevin Harvick. He clinched and is locked into the playoffs. Can he finally turn it on? Because, man, where's the 4 been all season long?
Again, I don't think so. I think that there's going to be some tracks in the playoffs that they're going to maybe show some signs of life, and they've gotten better over the last few weeks, certainly. But I still think that, just some of the things that they've got to work on internally and some things they can't even really control when they get to the racetrack have kind of hindered them this year. Don't really see them just all of a sudden coming to life and making a championship run.
All right, Kim.
I'm going to have to agree. If we were going to see Harvick, quote unquote, turn it on, it would have been earlier in the season, or at least at a track where he has a stout record like Michigan. I mean, a 14th place finish there is pretty indicative of, I think, what we'll see from the number 4 SHR, and I think from the organization in general for the remainder of the season. I am very surprised, though. Usually when Harvick's in this position, we see him get a little bit more fiery. I don't feel like we've seen that from it, and I think that's a reason that we're not going to see him turn it on for the rest of the year. I would have thought that we would have seen a little more fire out of him.
All right, I just want a head shake for this one. Does Kevin Harvick make the round of 8?
I'll say yes.
Oh, okay. All right, Kim. This will be determined at Daytona, but Denny Hamlin or Kyle Larson for the regular season championship. It's a close battle.
Ooh, it is a 28-point differential, which that can be easily made up in stages. Denny's so good at plate racing. I think Denny Hamlin is able to leapfrog Kyle Larson and take back the points lead for the regular season championship.
Yeah, hoping that we're going to a super speedway for Denny Hamlin. Dylan, who wins, the 11 or the 5?
I think you got to go 5. I think they just are rolling right now. I think Denny certainly is a really good super speedway racer, but Kyle seems like everywhere he goes, he's good. It doesn't matter what kind of racetrack it is. So it's hard to bet against him right now.
Yeah, dirt, asphalt, we don't care what it is. Dylan, surprise winner outside of the playoffs come Saturday night.
I think you got to look at Matty D, honestly. He's been really good. The Penske cars have always been really good at the super speedway tracks. Matt, though, he's got to put it together. I think he had another shot this weekend where he could have potentially won on Sunday at Michigan. Didn't get it done, still had a good day. But I think that if everything can just align for them on one race, it could be at Daytona potentially.
All right, Kim. So we know that can always happen at these super speedways. Surprise winner on Saturday.
Absolutely, we're getting a surprise winner and a brand new winner. And I know we say this every time we go to the super speedways, but it really is a place where it opens the door for way more teams to take the checkered flag. You look at guys that are really good at these type of tracks: Eric Jones, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Matt DiBenedetto. I'll even throw Daniel Suarez in the mix. So yes, we absolutely get a surprise winner at Daytona.
Oh, I love it. Kim, I love them too. They tend to happen when the pressure's heavy. Are we going to get a little boxing match, a little UFC going on after Daytona?
If we didn't see a fight between Brad Keselowski and Austin Dillon or either of their teams after Michigan, I don't think we're going to see a fight at Daytona.
All right, Dylan.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think everybody knows what they've got going into Daytona, right? That there's potential for things to explode and go really bad. So I think everybody just kind of they take that with a grain of salt when they go to Daytona.
I think I missed my chance with Chase Briscoe and Denny Hamlin. That was my one swinging chance. I missed out. All right. Well, I can't believe we're already at the regular season finale for the NASCAR Cup Series, but here we are. Daytona is up next, and if Michigan is any indication, we're in for a treat. Dylan, you're the guest here on the show, so you get first pick. Who wins Saturday night?
Man, so I know we just talked about Harvick not really showing any signs of life, but he has been really good on super speedway tracks. So I don't want to necessarily pick him. I'm going to go with a Hendrick car and say William Byron gets it done. But I think Harvick could be sneakily good and sneakily challenging for the win.
I'm sorry. This is a 360, 180, I guess. A complete opposite. All right, Kim, throw a dart on the Daytona board. Who wins?
Well, Dylan stole a little bit of my thunder with his preview of Matt DiBenedetto, but Matty D is my pick. He's been so good at super speedway. His job is kind of on the line in terms of what he's going to do next season. He's looking at these races as an audition. He's put kind of everything on the line earlier this season with requesting the crew chief change. We've seen an uptick from that team since then. To Dylan's point earlier, I think he's got to put the whole race together. But I think Matt DiBenedetto gets his first Cup Series win. He does it at Daytona and gets himself a playoff spot.
All right, well, I'm picking a little bit of a surprise too, I guess, but not really when it comes to Daytona. First win of 2021 for the 11. I'm going Denny Hamlin. We're just going to shock the world. Dylan, I am throwing you a little bit of a curveball here. Who's the last driver in to the playoffs?
I'm gonna go Reddick. I think he hangs on, and I think that he gets it done. Honestly,
Kim, you think Matty D, which means that Austin Dillon will be in the playoffs. We'll all be wrong. All right, fans. Well, this is it. Win and you're in. Make sure and tune into the regular season finale for the NASCAR Cup Series under the lights from the World Center of Racing this Saturday night at 7 p.m. Eastern on NBC. It'll be a race you won't want to miss. For Kim, Dylan, and myself, that'll do it for the Backseat Drivers. Thanks for tuning in. One more race until the NASCAR playoffs. Daytona week officially starts right now.